high-definition news for Monday, April 20th, 2015. I'm Jeff Kaufman. This is what catastrophe sounds like. Volunteers and emergency personnel struggle to pull survivors off of a boat full of African refugees as it breaks up on the rocky coast of the Greek island of Rhodes. They managed to save about 80, but at least 3 people drowned. But across the Mediterranean Sea, just 70 miles off the coast of Libya, 2 boats loaded down with refugees broke up yesterday and spilled their human cargo into the water. The death toll may be as high as 900. The worst refugee disaster in the Mediterranean in memory.
The Coast Guard are, with the small capacity that they have, are doing whatever they can to rescue lives, going very, very close to Libya if necessary, and working non-stop day and night. But it is clear that they need help.
What is happening in the Mediterranean is almost beyond imagining. Hundreds of men, women, and children packed into 2 boats not designed for the number or the journey. The 2 boats began taking on water Saturday night, just 70 miles north of the Libyan coast. There are 17 ships searching for survivors, Italian Navy and Coast Guard vessels, and merchant ships too, but they have so far been able to find only about 24 alive. Our coverage is from our partner in Paris, the network France 24.
We start with a migrant disaster. Ships are responding to distress calls from 2 boats in the Mediterranean, carrying some 400 people between them. This after hundreds of migrants died off Libya at the weekend, with survivors taken to Sicily. With the latest from the Italian island, here's our correspondent Natalia Mendoza.
28 migrants have been rescued. 27 of them are in Malta right now. They have been controlled by doctors that have confirmed their health conditions are stable. We know that there is 1 survivor already here. He is at the hospital. He talked to the investigators. He said that more than 900 migrants were on board of this ship, that hundreds of them were locked inside of the boat by human traffickers, and that among them women and child.
And rights groups are calling for search and rescue efforts to be stepped up. Olivia Salazar-Winspear has more.
EU officials are now searching for the tools to deal with human trafficking on an overwhelming scale. Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi has pointed the finger at insecurity in post-Gaddafi Libya as a major factor in the rise in migration from there. With Italy bearing the brunt of the influx on its southern shores, the UN High Commission for Refugees says logistical support and funding for that country in particular is essential.
The EU now needs to provide financing to Italy, which is always going to be the country most affected in terms of its coast and its proximity to Libya.
Some northern European countries less affected by Mediterranean migration are reluctant to bolster rescue operations, fearing this will encourage yet more people to take to the sea. Yet human rights groups say that regardless of contingency structures or the lack of them, would-be migrants will still keep trying to reach safety on European shores.
Children are leaving situations of horrific violence, of oppression, of poverty. And just because there's a lack of rescue boats does not mean they're not going to come.
That was Sarah Tyler of the charity Save the Children, speaking with our partners at France 24. The stream of refugees from North Africa has been constant this year. They are trying to escape war, poverty, and famine. Back home in Southern California, the search is on for another survivor of a calamity at sea. You may have heard about the sea lions who have been coming ashore on Orange County beaches, sick and malnourished. Scientists are still trying to determine the cause. But this morning, the priority is to find one particular sea lion pup who was kidnapped off the beach in Playa del Rey over the weekend. Witnesses say they saw a group of people taunting 2 sea lion pups on Dockweiler State Beach yesterday. A couple of people threw a blanket over one of the pups and took it away. The other pup managed to hide in some bushes, and marine wildlife rescuers were able to find it. But Peter Wallerstein of Marine Animal Rescue told Channel 7 that whoever kidnapped the other sea lion has more than they can handle.
They're 10-month-old sea lions, not finding food, so they need fluids in their body. They also have a bite 10 times greater than a pit bull, and the mouth is the dirtiest mouth of any mammal, so somebody could get real severely injured.
That's not all. It's a federal crime to take a sea lion, and conviction carries prison time. There's some good news this morning on the drought. No, it's not over, and yes, we all still have to reduce our water consumption. But over the weekend, state officials tweaked the percentages, and the new numbers tend to make it easier on folks in the big cities of Southern California. For example, LA and San Diego residents had been asked to cut their water use by 20%. The new goal is 16%. But other cities got hit harder. San Bernardino's new target is 32%, up from 25%. And Beverly Hills got hit with the new maximum. The conservation goal there is 36%. Felicia Marcus chairs the State Water Resources Board. She said on a media conference call on Saturday that we are far from seeing any relief.
With the high water use summer months approaching, we need to act with urgency now, or it will be too late to save the biggest chunks of water for this year so that we have it in the face of a potential dry year the next year. So all Californians need to step up more and prepare as if it won't rain or snow much next year either, because we know that we don't know when it will end.
And the Water Resources Board's deputy chair, Karen Trigovich, says new figures or not, there are things everyone can do to conserve water.
It's the use of a hose to wash cars without a shutoff nozzle. It's the application of potable water to driveways. So if you see your neighbor hosing down their sidewalk, tell them no.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti told Channel 2 that the let-up in the city's conservation target should not mean a change in anybody's behavior.
In the city of LA, we've done such a good job, we're being rewarded for it. But don't think of ourselves as being able to sit on our hands now. There are things we can all do. There's a faucet someplace in your house that is leaking or that lets water go too quickly. There's a shower that you can shorten. There's grass that you're not using that will pay you to take up and out of your yard.
LA will pay you $3.75 a square foot if you rip out your lawn. In Long Beach, the rate is $3.50 a square foot. It's called the California Incline, and no, it's not a ride at that other park at Disneyland. It's the ramp that hundreds of thousands of vehicles take every year to get from PCH to the city streets of Santa Monica. It's right before the tunnel where PCH turns into the Santa Monica Freeway. If you use the California Incline, you're going to have to find another route. It's closed now for a year. Jeff McDermott is the project manager for the construction company that's going to rebuild the incline.
This bridge is in bad shape. There's exposed rebar, there's chipped concrete, it's sitting on dirt that could move easily in an earthquake, especially with the heavy bluffs on top of them.
McDermott told Channel 5 that the California Incline is scheduled to reopen on Memorial Day of 2016. He says if they miss their target date, the contract calls for the company to be fined $9,600 a day. No detours in the LBC yesterday, if you were driving an Indy car, that is.
There's no way Montoya will leave it open. Scott Dixon wins at Long Beach for the first time.
Scott Dixon won his first Long Beach Grand Prix yesterday in the sunshine downtown. It's raining in downtown Boston right now, but that's not stopping anybody. The 119th Boston Marathon is on right now. It's been only 2 years since the bombings, and the man convicted of the bombings will learn in the next couple of weeks whether he'll be sentenced to death or life without parole. But on the streets of Boston today, says Mayor Marty Walsh, they're focused on the race.
The marathon's a major international athletic contest. It's also a celebration of what we all love about Boston and what we want to share with the world.
In Oklahoma City over the weekend, former President Clinton helped mark 20 years since the bombing of the federal building there, the worst act of terrorism on American soil until 9/11. The president paid tribute to Oklahomans who helped their state and the nation heal.
For 20 years, you have honored the memories of your loved ones. You have inspired us with the power of your renewal. You have reminded us that we should all live by the Oklahoma standard: service, honor, kindness.
The site of the federal building is a park now with 168 empty stone chairs representing the 168 people killed in the bombing. Here's some catch-up for your Monday breakfast. This is some of what might have got past you since Friday. The Republicans running for president gathered in New Hampshire over the weekend. The primary is still more than 9 months away, but they had something, or rather someone, they wanted to talk about. Guess who?
Hillary Clinton's going to raise $2.5 billion, which that's a lot of Chipotle, my friends.
This is Hillary Clinton's speech. I'm sorry, this isn't my speech.
Hillary Clinton must not be president.
Hillary Clinton couldn't be here today.
I ran against the Clinton political machine.
When Hillary Clinton travels, there's going to need to be 2 planes, one for her and her entourage and one for her baggage.
Rand Paul there with the line of the weekend. In reverse order, you also heard Mike Huckabee, Lindsey Graham, Carly Fiorina, Bobby Jindal, and Marco Rubio. Mrs. Clinton campaigns in New Hampshire today. Another jumper at the White House last night, a Californian from Hayward. They got him just inside the fence. And on this 420, if you happen to find yourself in Colorado Springs, hey, it could happen, you might want to check out the newest radio station there. It just went on the air.
K-High 1580, where 420 is our motto, and we mean it, dude.
All pot, all the time.
Boring talk radio? Nah, man. We leave that for Rush and the gang. We're too busy talking weed. We do it all the time, all day, every day. This is K-High 1580.
You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you, what was I talking about? Now you know what we know. I'm Jeff Kaufman, High Definition News.